I want to spend some of my conscious energy blending back into the crowd.
Previously on The Thief.
Keeping a perimeter are multiple haldaen.
An original adventure which hinges on the roll of the dice.
You see 2 guards guiding Osment,
By Michael Schofield.
whose hands are shackled together.
Played by Sisi Wei.
So then I just want to move myself so that I can make eye contact with him.
You linger in the cracks between people to try to catch his eye. On the outside of the market, there is a prison wagon with its ramp down and its gate open where Osment is being led. He is searching the crowd too. It takes a moment, but you catch his eye, and he shakes his head at you. The crowd is murmuring, the gate is locked, the ramp is removed. An ox pulls the cart north and out of sight. At no other time does Osment look back to the crowd.
Nothing left to see. Show's over. Get on with yourselves. Move it.
I want to put on the persona of someone who needs to get home and get myself at least out of this crowd so that I can step into an alley without being shoulder to shoulder with someone else. And then I think what I would like to do is put a little bit of distance going the back alleyway between me and this crowd. I don't have to go in the direction of the wagon. That's irrelevant to me. But I just want to go somewhere where, like, me trying to scale a building in this alleyway is not something 100 people are going to see.
I think you find your way into a narrow alley where there is scaffolding. The scaffolding doesn't exist to support or improve like the structure of the building, but it is there purely as a folk stairwell that allows people who live in these tenements a different access to the ground below. There are tons of fabrics hanging off of deep reds in multiple colors that are drying on the laundry. There are ropes and rigging between the buildings to facilitate passing or even very tenuous navigating, but a system of navigation has merged between these 2 buildings that you find yourself.
She knows that it is probably a fool's errand to try and literally have 0 people see her go from roof to roof during this journey. So what she can do is confuse everybody as to who they are seeing. What I want her to do is as she goes past these buildings from the roof or by like hanging on a clothesline or whatever, is that I want her to take an outfit every time she changes buildings and throw the previous one off on the roof and wear the new one. And she's looking for things that are quick to change, right? So like shirts, scarves, or even just like a rug, such that if people see someone jumping, they will never describe the same individual.
You're taking the opportunity to ascend to the next level. So sometimes there are like leaning ladders that you can climb up to get onto another plank of wood that goes between 2 different buildings. You find yourself at the plateau and you are ahead above the horizon. You can see down into the color-rich, senseless design of Old Town descending below you. the periphery of your vision, if you were to go another direction, you see Lorim's Hill, which is the highest point. But to your left, you see the wagon emerging in a small gap between different buildings where you can see directly into the road. You can even see Osment sitting there biding his time before they disappear behind other buildings.
I have a new idea now that I'm on this roof. So I want to like a couple of rooftops, and I want to be at an angle in which the wagon is slowly approaching me.
You can anticipate that the road the wagon is on, even as the wagon disappears behind a building and you're only able to catch glimpses of it, this road is going to curve and intersect with your direct path down. The crowds of people are relatively thick, and while the wagon itself, the sound of its wheel, its marching haldaen, do not rise above like the normal din of the city, you're able to gauge its path by the river of people who are making way for it.
It's 30 to 45 seconds away, and I can tell it's coming because the people are moving. And for some duration of time, it's basically going to be like right up next to me. And then once it passes, I'm going to have to make a decision on how to keep up. I have a rope, and I'm on a roof. I want to like basically spend this time looking at my surroundings and knowing what I have to send some sort of signal to Osment. There are a couple options, but it's really about what signals can I send, right? Do I see any fruit or vegetables that I can...
I think these old city walls provide great backdrop to all sorts of different vendors. Anytime when you were kind of like navigating any of this scaffolding, you could have like swiped
an apple. Yeah, it's like very Abu style, right? Yeah, so I would love to have stolen just like a bunch of random fruit. Some apples, but they're all kind of different. One might have like a bite in it already, and someone had just like put it down. Maybe I have a smaller apricot or something, which was surprising to me to feel when I grabbed something round from a window.
The upcoming coronation brings all sorts of different edible opportunities.
Exactly. Coronation tomatoes.
Coronation tomatoes, yeah.
Red, because it's so joyous. I'm waiting for the wagon to come around, and then I'm gonna like chuck this tomato right at Osment. Like maybe not his face, like his chest. Right, the goal is to get his attention and to be like close enough that he understands what's going on, and not that like random townspeople are throwing tomatoes at the people in jail.
Crouched at the edge of this roof, the wagon turns the corner, of course, like heralded by a current of people who are making way for it. You will have advantage because you are aiming.
So, with advantage, I have a 22.
The wagon itself ends up in earshot. The jabbering of the crowd becomes mixed with the grinding wheel on the cobble. And there is Osment sitting across diagonally from the prisoner with whom he shares the wagon. That person tied to one of the poles. Their head is down. They look ragged. Their hair is messy. Their face is in their arm. Osment, on the other hand, is sitting on what is a narrow crossbeam that acts sort of like a bench. He's not making eye contact with the haldaen who are in a column behind him when a coronation tomato collides with his shoulder, like poof. He's pulled out of his own reverie, in which he sits back. He's now sitting kind of like at an angle, as if like he was properly wounded in the shoulder, more caught off guard than anything. You can watch from your vantage as the calculations are running in his mind. He draws a line with his eyes and then looks back to the haldaen, noticing that nobody is looking. He looks up.
I hold up an apple. I want to make a jailbreak gesture. So I put my hands together as if they're tied like the other guys, and I do this.
He shakes his head.
Okay, that's good to know. I make another gesture, which he will have to interpret, but it's as if I'm writing with a quill. And my intention is I want to know, are you going to contact me? But we'll see what he thinks of me.
He isn't bound. He subtly shakes his head to the negative. He double checks that the haldaen behind McLellan are preoccupied or zoned out. And I think he actually stretches his back and stands using one of the poles. His back will be to you now. He's gazing out behind the wagon. And at some point he turns around and he leans forward through it with his hands through the bars, relaxing.
He drops something, and
He does not make eye contact with you again. The wagon pulls directly underneath you, then finds its way 20, 30 yards past. He deliberately turns his face the other direction, away from you, and does not again meet your gaze.
I don't think I would have run after him because he told me so deliberately again not to bust him out. And so I do think I would have stayed.
You notice on the cobble, in the path of the wagon, a now stomped on, browned square of paper.
And so if I see that piece of paper, I think it's time to descend this building and try to go grab that.
You find an announcement that declares to society betrothing of the Lord Cogwin and Eleanor Merchant, the lady-in-waiting for the King Gawain the Royal. It's just an announcement, a declaration of note to society. There isn't a date, but it's one of the many ways that society keeps itself abreast of society.
Okay. I think she's probably going to go research this.
The Thief is an original adventure written and produced by me, Michael Schofield, played by Sisi Wei, dialogue editing by Brianna Jean, with voices by Kristian Byrne and Patrik Deraković-Rakas. The music you heard was Gateway to the Fjords by Crypt of Insomnia, Mystic Desert by Jay Blanks, and some sad vocals you're hearing now by Orchestral. The Thief is produced by the Fjord, our thanes Trei Brundrett and Andy McLellan, and our spear throwers, Rebekah Monson, Andy Priestner, Joshua Simpson, Kevin Wilson, and Mike Atchley. You too can join them and the Fjord and help me make more stories about the Aenthrin, the Sword, Wergwingleom, and the legacy of Caladran at patreon.com/Michael Schofield. I'll see you there.